The situation in Georgia is getting hot as tensions go high given the civil strife and clashes between citizens and police. Experts are concerned about the ongoing situation in Tbilisi, and some of them say that this will have a serious impact on the South Caucasus region as well. So we have a guest from Turkiye, political expert and professor at Kocaeli University, İrfan Kaya Ülger. Dear professor, welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me.
This situation we were talking about, Georgia, is in spotlight at the moment, and it's becoming increasingly tense. And in the last few days, protests have turned into clashes between police and civilians, as you can see on TV quite frequently. On the one hand, the West insists that it will fight to the end, but on the other hand, the security of the country and as well as the region remains in question. And what does West want to achieve? That's the question. And we would like to hear your thoughts on this briefly.
Georgia is one of the countries in the South Caucasus with troubled relations with Russia. Two regions of the country, South Ossetia and Abkhazia, have fallen under the control of separatists with Russian support. After the outbreak of the war in Ukraine, Georgia was declared a candidate for European Union membership. In fact, it does not fulfill the geographical criteria. In other words, in order to join the European Union, it has to be geographically located on the European continent. Nevertheless, the European Union declared Georgia a candidate together with Moldova for political consideration. Within this framework, some legal arrangements were made for harmonization with the European Union. On the other hand, Georgian government insists on enforcing a law that we have seen in Russia. This law, called Foreign Agent Law, significantly restricted fundamental rights and freedom of the country. After the election, the government announced the 4-year suspension of relations with the European Union. The demonstrators are protesting but against this announcement and against the country's move toward a pro-Russian policy. From a European perspective, European Union wants to establish close relations with the countries of the South Caucasus, especially Georgia. It wants to strengthen Caucasus connection toward full membership or a similar formula. Armenia is a very poor country. I expect the European Union to get politically closer to Armenia in the very near future. The natural gas factors play a role in Azerbaijan-European Union relations. Since European natural gas purchases from Russia have been disrupted, alternatives are being considered. Azerbaijan is one of the leading countries in this context. In conclusion, I would like to say that European Union is trying to increase its influence in the South Caucasus countries.
Okay, Professor, there is another question, and especially West's insistence on Georgia, as we talked at first at the very beginning, that it's really now turning this into a civil war inside the country. We receive these kind of comments from the local people that they are really concerned about now inside the country, and they are talking about that it's going to be spread around. As you know, and, the Europe is trying to subjugate many countries by luring them to the European Union under the guise of membership. And this is not a word, but this is the word of the common people that they just talk about. And one of such victims is Ukraine. And remember from the history, and when looking back to in 2014, even 2004, and today Georgia is facing the same and tough test at the moment in its life. And I would like to remind you that European Union once imposed such conditions on Turkey for its membership in the Union, but this continued for a long time, as we could see, and it didn't yield any results. So it seems that EU is only selectively accepting the countries it wants, actually. So Georgia was closer to membership, but after its decision on foreign agents, we could see that it roused the anger of the West against Georgia. And what do you think? Is the West right, which has not included Turkey in the EU until now, or is Georgia guilty not accepting Europe's decision on several conditions, including also the LGBTs or several things that Georgia doesn't accept it as a South Caucasian nation?
I think the main reason for the stalemate of the European Union-Georgian relations is not the rights of the marginalized groups. The European Union is mainly reacting to foreign agent law. The European Union is trying to exert political and economic influence on Georgia. This is actually a very normal situation in the candidature process. In other words, the candidate country is obligated to accept European Union laws. Let's look at the Balkan countries. Bulgaria face the same situation as Turkey also. European law have to be accepted if you want to join the European Union. In this respect, I think it is not right to blame the European Union. Georgia need to make arrangements that are democratic, based on human rights, and recognize the rule of law. If it wants to join the European Union, it needs to do things. But if it wants to be under the influence of Russia, then it needs to move toward the totalitarian regime. The conflict in the country actually stems from this reason.
Okay. Professor, I would like to divert the question a little bit towards the South Caucasus. As you see, the situation in Georgia is closely related to the whole region now, the South Caucasian region, and this doesn't only, it's not limited to the situation in Georgia, but it's also a bit versatile. Now we have to consider Azerbaijan, we have to consider Armenia, and in particular the Armenia-Azerbaijan relations now, which is in progress and towards peace, building. And now the question is about, what we want to know is, we would like also to know your opinion on the impact of the situation in Georgia on the overall situation, let's say, in the South Caucasus in near future. So what are the direct implications for the peace talks between Azerbaijan and Armenia, especially in light of the West's influence on Armenia?
We know that a ceasefire agreement was signed between Azerbaijan and Armenia on 10 November 2020. Later, the Baku government also established control in the center of the Nagorno-Karabakh. Peace negotiations are currently ongoing. Turkey is also supporting these efforts. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, as a leader with popular support, approach the issue realistically, because poor Armenia will be one of the parties that will gain the most from the peace in the region, because with a peace agreement, Armenia will be freed from isolation. We can say that the European Union generally suffered political stability in the South Caucasus. In other words, Armenia-Azerbaijan peace is compatible with the European Union's regional politics. In fact, the European Union want to establish full membership or derivate cooperation with all countries in the South Caucasus. Full membership might not be possible, but privileged membership seems possible for all of the South Caucasus states. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Professor. Thank you. This was Professor at Kocaeli University, Professor Dr. İrfan Kaya Ülger.